Okay, let's get started. Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. Well, today is Thursday. You get it. So as you can see on the title, on today's video I'm going to be giving you my full review with spoilers of the 6th episode of American Horror Stories Feral. Now, if you don't want the spoilers but you still want to see if it's worth watching or not, on the description box down below there's going to be my spoiler free review as always, because I like to give you guys the options. Now, I have already done the reviews of all the episodes that are out of American Horror Stories, and basically my expectations as this spin-off goes on has been lower and lower and lower. For me, still the worst episode is the naughty list. That is the Christmas slash influencers. That was awful. This one has so much potential and it was a complete flop. But why? If you want to know it, keep on watching. Basically, this episode is about this family that goes to a national park and they're camping, they pass the night, everything is fine. But the next day, the father and the kid, we could say that he's a toddler, maybe. I think he's not even 5 years old yet. He's a really little kid. While the wife stays that she's using the bathroom, that the potty that they use when you're camping, that type of stuff. Well, she's using that. So we have the father and the kid that they are going to go fishing because they're really close to a lake and everything. And they're playing hide and seek real quick, and he's like, boo, and that type of dynamic. So until the kid doesn't appear, he hides behind a giant tree, but he never comes out. And his father went nuts, and of course his mother too, and they started screaming. The name of the kid is Jacob. And basically they start screaming really loud. They get desperate, and cuts to 10 years later. It's a really quick introduction, not really giving much details about the family in general. They just showing them going into the national park and putting up the tent and that type of stuff. They don't really say much, although that he's a lawyer and she's a teacher. That's the only thing. So we go to 10 years later. Of course the kid is still missing. They get divorced. And basically the father, he never really let go the fact that his kid got missing, and he still believes that he's out there. This is something that happens a lot, not just it's making up for the series. It's something that truly happens. If someone that you really care, especially if it's your kid, goes missing, probably if you didn't saw the body, you're gonna spend the rest of your life thinking maybe he's out there. So that's the thing going on here. They get divorced. Now his really he really looks bad. He's like this, and all the wall it's covered in newspaper and a map, and you can really see that he has been searching his son ever since. And the woman on the other side, she had to ditch her teacher position because she couldn't be around kids, and now she's selling houses. But everything comes to the point where a man comes to the father and he's like, I have this camera because I'm a hunter, and I put it on certain places on the woods on this national park, and of course I know about your son. And he claims that he saw his son. He shows him a picture, as a really bad picture, let me tell you. And he gave Jacob a compass that was from him being a Boy Scout. And the man, he said, and I found this, and he shows it's the compass. So you're thinking, oh, maybe he's out there all these years. Of course, he's asking for money, and the father, he's willing to do anything for his kid. So of course he wants to, but of course he doesn't have the money. The one who has the money is his ex-wife, and he goes to her. He convince her, and they gave the man the money, and they get into the national park. And of course they go, and they start going to the place where it's supposed to be. And also this man claimed that something that good had happened, is that he has been kidnapped by a cartel or something because of drugs, because this is the usual thing to do, kidnap people in the woods. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust him. Seriously, I wouldn't have gave that man the money. It really looks pretty fishy. So of course they get to the place where it was supposed to happen, and when they get there, there's a lot of bodies. Everyone is killed, and they are like, "What the hell just happened?" And he's like, "It was just a scam, and you guys were supposed to like went missing. These people were supposed to help me out, but they were killed. So I don't know what the heck is happening." He bought a compass on a Salvation Army, and he kind of just make it look dirtier. So that's really fucked up if you ask me. I mean, you don't do that. You don't mess with people's feelings like that. So of course, one of the corpses goes up and goes from behind and kills the man and eats him. Really, really graphic there. Let me tell you, pretty graphic. But if you don't mind that, there you go. They're running and they get to the cabins that the forest rangers used to like do their thing and like do their work. You know what I'm talking? Like they are isolated from the rest of the people, but they have their own cabin like on the middle of woods. They get to one, and this is Cody Fern, who we have seen previously in other seasons of American Horror Story. Now he's basically telling them that what it's out there, it's not Bigfoot, because there are many theories about what it's out on national parks, and this is completely real. This is not something made up for this episode. So this episode is really predictable, because seriously, it's pretty obvious what is going to happen. But when it comes to national parks, this is something that really happens. Many people go missing and all year on national parks, and of course the mystery behind it, it's really, really deep. And basically he's claiming that the government has awareness of this. What is out there is not human, but it's not a monster either. It's like a mutation, and this could be descendants from the men of the mountains that they never get out to society. Something that really sounds like Wrong Turn, like more like the new version, like the old one that are just cannibals and with genetic things. This one, they're mutants too, but it's like a mix, I could say. But it's like watching a PG version of Wrong Turn. I mean, Wrong Turn is way more graphic, so we could say it looks pretty similar to 21 Wrong Turn version. If you want to have any type of comparison, there you have one. Now basically he shows them a file, because he's not allowed to, of course, talk about this, but since they kind of pressure him to like tell us what is happening. So what he says, kid was probably kidnapped by one of these and probably eat it alive, and it's dead. But he's like, well, at least now we know what happened. But these creatures, they appear and they get into the cabin, they kill the forest ranger, and the couple, they start running. And they get into a middle ground where everything's flat. And when the camera turns, we have this throne made of skulls. And guess who? The kid Jacob. It's like the king of these people. How everything happened, how he's not dead, we don't know. They don't say anything, and I'm mad about it. I mean, you're telling me that you couldn't have at least spend maybe 1-2 minutes telling me how the heck he survived. Like, that's the least that you can do. Tell me how the heck he survived. And they're like, Jacob, and they're like so relieved and happy that they're seeing their son again. And he only says boo, but in like with a question mark, like, boo? Like, I know you're my parents. And they're one of the creatures, he talks to them in their own language, and he's like, who they are. And he's looking straight to the parents' face, and he says to them, dinner. And you're like, oh, okay. So they get killed. They get eaten up alive. They start screaming, of course. And while they're doing that, a little bit of blood splash into the kid's face. He does this. And that's how everything ends. Now, why do I think that this is a flop? I mean, you have such a great team. National parks. Like I said, the amount of people that go missing, the theories, you know how many things you can make about this? It's a really interesting topic. It's not something that's really talked on, especially on series, because of movies we have Wrong Turn. That's the closest thing that we have. but doing it a single episode that goes so fast. I mean, it's 30 minutes, but it feels like maybe 20. It really goes really fast. A little bit rushed. It looks like we don't have enough time. Go quickly. Like it goes way too fast, so it doesn't really like give details, and sometimes details are important. So I think that they were just such a really good team here. The special effects, they're okay. I mean, it's blood, we have cannibalism, the makeup really looks good, looks realistic. Of course, they're people, but like, of course, they have deformities and everything, so that looks pretty good. But in general, this is just a basic episode. Like, it's not something that you're going to remember. For me, American Horror Stories in overall has been so disappointed. I don't know what the heck I was expecting, but I was expecting something better. I think that that's my fault having too high expectations on this, but I think that is going to harm a little bit on the 10th season of American Horror Story, because I think that Ryan Murphy needs to like finish this. I think that he's running out of ideas, doing the best thing that comes to mind. And I think that he needs to end American Horror Story seriously. I don't really see a point of continuing this. I love American Horror Story, but I think that it has come to an end. And I really hope it's not actually 10 seasons. It's not going to be the last. He already told that they're thinking of more seasons. But maybe after this, he's probably thinking about ending it. Who knows? But American Horror Stories, like I said, I was expecting so much, but it has been just like the last episode was better, but this one not so much. Seriously, you can't really have high expectations because of the team, but of course it's a flop. And basically that's all I have to say about the episode. It's quite simple. There's not really much to say about it, but I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, of course I want to watch it because it's my duty, but now you know it. Maybe you don't want to watch it after this, maybe you still do. So let me know in the comments your opinion about it, because like I said, I don't really much, like seriously, for me, I can forget about this episode in 5 minutes. But thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys on my next video. Bye.